Hi, Mohamed. I'm going to record correcting your homework to give you a better idea um, of why I'm doing stuff and how. So overall, I think you've really done a great job. You've done everything that we asked for, included all the information, and you have used all the HTML tags, and I can see that you used many of the semantic tags that we talked about, like header and main and footer. So, and you are using the list correctly. So I'm very, very happy. I can give you some tips of how you could maybe make it easier for yourself. And I'm not sure if your intention was to get these two to be displayed next to each other and these two to be displayed next to each other, but that is my assumption. So I'm going to help you make that happen. So first off, um, to make the CSS a bit easier to read, there is something on Codepen that's called tidy CSS. So that's going to tidy up the whole CSS for you without you having to do anything. So that's pretty cool. And the same is possible with the HTML, although that was pretty tidy in itself. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the HTML. First off, the header is used totally correctly as far as I can see, so that's perfect. Then in this part with the main, you actually don't need the div here to wrap your main because you're not styling it. So you can, and you don't need to wrap things into a div unless you have multiple. So if you had, I don't know, maybe an aside, oh sorry, an aside over here with some side content, a widget, something different, then it might make sure to have like a parent for the two. But because you only have one element in this div, you don't need it. So just gonna get rid of that. And the same way with the footer. So I'm just gonna remove these empty lines. So you don't need this div around the footer either because the footer is the only element inside. So if I just tidy up the HTML again. Alrighty. So that looks a bit cleaner. I have just realized that you had a div that's wrapping the body. So you shouldn't do that. In the HTML, you should only have two elements. One should be the head, and the other one should be the body. So the body is the outermost container containing everything that's visible on a website. So I'm just gonna get rid of that too. Cool. Just gonna, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I forked your pen. So I have the exact same thing, but it's mine now, so I can modify it and stuff. All right, so I'm gonna tidy the HTML once more. Cool. So now we got this pretty, yeah, header and main and footer. That's very nice. And as far as I can see, I didn't really mess up any of the styles because you weren't selecting the divs or using them for anything. So that's great. So we haven't covered this so far, so it's completely understandable that you you didn't completely manage to do this. But so basically, if you want to use floats to put things next to each other, then um, what you need to do is first, so I see you have two classes, the left side and the right side. Um, so do you have okay? So you have a left side and a right side twice. That's smart to reuse common behavior or repeated behavior. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open the DevTools to inspect your elements because that's a little easier for me to see what you're styling and how. So if I look at, so I can open and close stuff with the left and right arrows, which makes it really easy for me to see like the main structure of your elements. So in the main you have these two, and I can see you're displaying it as a table. You don't actually need to do that. It's the main by default is displayed block. So if I remove the styling, then it's going to jump back to the original, which is display block like a div. It's a block level element. So I'm gonna remove those styles from both. And then the left side and the right side. So I can see you are adding some margin right, or sorry, margin left on the right side. I'm not completely sure why. I don't know if it's because you actually want this sort of layout, which in that case it's completely fine. But if you want the two to be next to each other, then you shouldn't add any margin. So I'm gonna remove that as well. So if I look at your CSS, then oh yeah, that's here. Cool. So now we remove the margin. So what do we need to get it to display next to each other? Well, for one, when you're using floats, then you always want the parent to clear the floats. Otherwise, the rest of your layout might be messed up. So what we used to do in development, we don't really do it anymore because floats are a bit it's called like obsolete. They are not used anymore, but we used to create this class called a clear fix. I can actually just clear fix. So basically this is what we just used to do. It's a bit of a snippet that you just have in every project you have, and then what you do, you just, so this is kind of like a utility. This isn't like a certain part of your website. This is just a utility that you can use over and over again. So you would use it on every element that is a parent. So in this case, that is a parent to other elements that are using floats. So these two are using floats. So you want the main, which is the parent, to get this class clear fix. Just gonna apply this first, and then I'm gonna show you what it does. Cool. So you can see that work experience has actually jumped up now when it has the space for it. Doesn't always have the space for it because it's not responsive, which is something we haven't covered yet. Okay, let's see. So those are the two, and footer Those are the two other ones. Okay, I'm just gonna change the view to full page. It's a bit easier. Ah, okay, so you can see it got the clear fix, but it doesn't seem like it has the styles. Okay, I'm just gonna try something. I can't really remember this. Ah, so maybe that's what you were trying to do. That's why you were setting it as a display table. That would make sense. Okay, I'm not gonna drag this along for a lot longer. Ah, yeah, okay, so it also has a margin. Right, it doesn't need to, I guess, unless you want it to, and what's happening here. So that's okay, something is wrong. It seems like they are not getting the clear fix stuff at all. Okay, I'm gonna do like a quick debug thing, which is something I normally do. Clear fix, clear fix, footer, clear fix. So that's pretty weird. Because what we would like, I can try to show you here. So if we say after, and then we say content, just a string, and clear display table and clear both, then this float should be cleared, and your layout should be the way it should be. So basically, this is what we want. So the footer and the main. Just gonna try something else here. So I'm not sure if there's a CSS error or what. But let's see if we say, okay, so that's working. Not sure if it's this. Oh yeah, okay, so for some reason it's the comment that's not working. Some will like comments in CSS. Ah, so it's probably because I was writing a space. So that's what. No. Okay, I'm not sure. Never mind. So it's working if we do this. And then we actually don't need to select those at all. So just to show you really quickly, if I refresh here, oh, and just the last thing. So this should be on the after element. Cool. So now it's doing what we wanted, or what I think maybe you wanted to do. And then I'm just going to clear that. And then I also want to see what you're doing here with the, I saw that you had some margin on some lists. Is it that one? No. Is it this one? Ah, okay. PR. Okay, so that's probably to just get it to jump to the right spot where, well, you actually don't need that anymore because now the floats are working. So I'm just gonna delete those two. All right. Well, I guess we've maybe made this a little more simple. I'm not sure. Another advice would be to try to. I'm very happy that you didn't use the same selector twice, because that makes it easier for yourself to like find all the styling connected to a certain thing. So that's pretty cool. Although I would probably also suggest that you move all element selector stuff next to each other. And then, so you have all your elements up here, and then you have all your classes down here. Because that way you can more easily find whether you are selecting the same selector twice, and in that way messing up your styling. So I'm gonna send you this link as well as the video. I hope it's been some help. I'm not sure if I completely misunderstood what you were trying to do, but good job. Anyway, it was really well done, especially considering that we've only had one week so far, and we didn't even go through all the curriculum. So I'm really proud. Good job. Bye.